And I met this guy who apparently died 3 times and came back. So I walk out the hut and I see baby died right in front of my eyes. If giving is living, if contribution was the core of living, then what next? What do I do? I've kind of lost my life in this moment. Yes, we have a hand over there, please. Okay, final one.
Helping other people, helping other people, helping other people. Well, I know it's good. It's good feeling, and we have to do it because we are human beings and we have to help a lot of people to survive and everything. But for me, it's like I can't help people who are telling me that you're wrong. You're doing something different than real.
Why are you trying to help them?
Because they annoy me.
Why does that make you need to help them?
I don't want to help them.
Then if you don't, then don't.
But I want to change them. Because I don't
Why do you want to change them?
Because I don't want them to annoy me anymore, telling me what to do. I just want to be...
Well, why are you spending so much time with them to annoy you? Why are you opening up your door to
Because
hey,
I
annoy
saw
me?
different people,
Hey?
and then I met different human beings that inspire me, and I want to be that one for them as well. And
But
it
you
could
can't
be.
be.
No.
Of course you can't. Contribution is the highest need. Yes? So what does that mean? It means that a lot of the time when we fulfill our needs, our greater need is then to help other people. Okay? Now, it was actually a Buddhist out in China actually said to me at a point where I just started my charity work. And I was super excited because I was like, to set the context, prior to the charity work, I was slaving away in my restaurant and I was thinking, I don't even want to be here anymore. What's the purpose in life? Then I start the charity work and I'm like, wow, I can save lives. So I'm like, in this mindset, I want to help everybody. I want to change lives. I want to help them. I found my purpose. I was out in China and a Buddhist said to me, he said, hey, how are you doing? I'm saying, I'm great. Life's amazing. I'm saying, I'm on top of everything. It's great. He said, wow, tell me about it. I said, yeah, I'm like saving people's lives and like all that type of stuff. And I said, I found my purpose. He says, found purpose? I said, yeah, like the purpose in life, giving is living. They're my exact words I said. I said, giving is living. I said, yeah, it's all about contribution, right? Like that's what it's about. And then the Buddhist said to me, he said, Eric, that's not the purpose of life, but that sounds like it's your purpose right now. And I said, this is too deep for me. What are you talking about? I'm telling you I'm happy, man. It's like, why are you telling me that, hey, it's like not right? And he said, okay, this is your purpose right now. What will happen is you'll go like this. Then what will happen is you'll come to this realization. It'll come like this. And then it will level out. Then I said, well, that's not very nice, I'm on top of the world right now. You're telling me it's going to come down and it's going to level out. Why are you telling me that? And he says, you just walk the path and you will see. When I was out in Kenya, we were trying to help as many kids as possible. And then I realized one month that my outgoing was higher than my incoming. And at that point, there was a few restaurants pulling in at least 30, 40K a week, And I was thinking, this is a big problem. I'm saving lives, but what do I do when my outgoing is bigger than my incoming? What would you do in that situation? You have to reduce your outgoing. You have to, right? Or increase your incoming, but then the immediate is you need to reduce your outgoing. So what does that mean? Let's say, for example, I'm out in Kenya, I'm helping kids, and I'm paying for food and education and medication. So what's your action point then? What do you need to do? Help less people. You need to start saying no to some people. Let me ask you a question, right? Kenya, just Kenya alone, right? How many of you think you could go out there and save the world? How many of you think you can go out there and just save Kenya? How many of you think that you can go out there and save even just where we are, Western Bungoma District, Kenya? You can't. So then what happened was I came to the big realization, and we go through these situations of these learnings. And this time where I was out there, then what happened? There was a lady called Mary come up to me with her baby, dying of malaria, 9 months. And then she looked into my eyes, she said, Eric, can you assist? And that was the same moment where I said, I need to start saying no. So I said to Mary, I said, I'm sorry, Mary, I can't help you right now. She said, please, please, can you assist? My baby really needs help. Went down onto her knees. And then I said, maybe we find some help in the village or something, because I said, I really can't continue doing this now. I don't know what we can do. We were in a mud hut. In the middle of the night, I hear a big scream. So I walk out the hut, and I see baby died right in front of my eyes. In that moment, it was an interesting moment, because why? Because I went from hating my life, not understanding purpose, to thinking I found the purpose of life, to then realizing this realization of I can't help everyone. Then I was like, what am I going to do now? How can I do this? If giving is living, if contribution was the core of living, then what next? What do I do? I've kind of lost my life in this moment, what do I do? I came to this realization twice. It was a real weird transition, right? And this is why these days it's an interesting thing when we talk about, it's very nice that you brought this up, because we were talking about our duty to sell. When I came into this industry, I had this big belief, my duty to sell, and it's nice that, what's your name? Yuho. It's nice that Yuho brought this up, is because then there comes the balance. Your duty to sell, right? Your duty is to sell to those who really want this help. That's a big difference. Because let me tell you something, you can try and force the sell on somebody who really doesn't want the help, but you can still, because there's loads of different NLP techniques, sales techniques to manipulate the thing to get the sale. But let me tell you something, things like that you force will always come back. That's why in life it's not, you don't need to force anything, don't need to fight, right? Go with the natural path, the path of least resistance, and flow with it. But when you know that person is wanting this help, but maybe there's just some things you can speak to them about right now to do the close, then that's your duty. That's how I see it now. That's why a lot of the time, now it's very different to how I used to close from, you and I used to close from stages. You say, start up, go, Now it's kind of like, if it's right for you, you'll know it's right for you. I don't need to say any more at this point. The second time was really interesting, because just before this whole baby incident, I was out in Slovakia. And I met this guy who apparently died 3 times and came back, right? And I was having a conversation with him, and exactly the same conversation. I said, life is about contribution. And we just got into that conversation. And he said, no, it's not. He said, that's your purpose right now. And I said, oh, not this again. I've heard this before. And then I said, what do you mean? He said, let me tell you something. When I died and went up and seen everything, I seen everything so clearly. And he says, there's so many levels. He said, right now, it looks like you're on the guru level. I said, what's the guru level? He said the guru level, you come into this lifetime and you go through so many stages. It's like playing a computer game. Imagine if there was like, say, 12 stages to the computer game. And then you would, every time you come into a new form, you would play a few stages. Let's say you get to stage 3 or stage 4. Then what happens is, and then you pass, right? That's your game over in this form. Then you come back as another form, right? And then you start from stage 4, and then because you're advanced, stage 1 to stage 4, you're complete. You know all that stuff. So that was easy for you. So you're called the gifted ones, the gifted kids, you know? The ones who kind of, wow, you're very aware. So you start from stage 4, stage 5, stage 6, and some of you, and then there's all these stages. Then he says, then it gets to this stage 11 or stage 12, and he said, okay, that's guru stage. What does that mean? It means you've completed the game before. For the people who completed the game before, they're very awakened. They know how the whole game works, and usually they get into the guru stage. And the guru stage is this need to tell everybody else how to play the game. So what they do is they have this real need to keep teaching other people and telling them how to play the game. Then he said, then there's a stage beyond that. And he said, the stage beyond that is when you have no need to tell anybody to teach anybody to complete the game, because you're just enjoying observing the game. And I thought, that's really interesting. I came into this industry around 4 years ago, the game of helping people, serving people. And I said, at first, I was really wanting, I'll mentor you, yeah, I'll mentor you, I'll mentor you, I'll mentor you. It was killing me, it's taking all my time. People would literally call me up, right, at like 11 o'clock in the morning, and they say, Eric, why did you not wake me up this morning? I thought you were my mentor. I said, oh, I didn't know alarm clock was part of mentor duty, you know? And I'll be like, wow, I'm doing all this for free, and they're demanding more, and they don't get results, and then they blame me, and I'm just like, oh, what's going on, you know? This is really not good. And then I got to a point where, hey, I realized that actually it doesn't matter how much I see somebody really not knowing how to do business. It doesn't matter how much I try to drill into this person, it's wasting my energy. Because some people who don't want to get it will just not get it. And I don't know if any of you have experienced this before. You go down this personal development journey. You awaken, you learn so much. When you get out these doors, what you want to do, you want to be the guru. I know it. Because especially when you go home, you want to be the guru. You want to tell your family, you want to tell your closest family members, the people you love dearly. Why? Because you love them dearly. And I don't know if anybody's experienced this before, but sometimes it's the closest people, closest to you, that you just can't get through. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Right? And then you're trying to get through, you're trying to get that message through, but it's not going through. And then you're getting really frustrated, annoyed that message isn't going through. But how about think of it a different way and just let them be? Everyone take a deep breath in and out. What if we could let them be? Because what if everything was exactly the way it's supposed to be? What if they need to go through that journey right now? What if by you trying to change their thought doesn't allow them to go through the learning that they need to go through right now? Because that's the stage they're at. You can't force it. Then comes another thing, is about your energy. If you start understanding about your energy, right? Let's say you have 100% capacity here of your energy. This is your capacity to be able to serve, love, inspire, change the world, possibly. Now you take the 80% of it on this person who really doesn't want to take this information right now. You got 20% left. It's killing you. Do you know your potential is so high to change the world? But why not change the world where it wants to be changed? If you start doing that, you will be doing the world a great service, you know? You'll be really playing at your full potential. So my thought is very simple. In that situation, personally, how I see it is that I don't try to change anyone. You know, it's funny because now most of my talks today is actually on spirituality. in the past, most of my talks was on business, right? But I had to go through the business. This is what I'm saying as well. Yesterday we were talking about find what your message is. And you're like, oh, but I don't know what my life purpose. It doesn't matter. It's not your life purpose. Because once you take step one, it'll transition you to what you're supposed to be talking about. I never thought that I'd be speaking about spirituality. I thought I'd be speaking about noodles. So now when and it's interesting, spirituality topic, because when we're talking about this, we had, I said, there's no need to change people and all this type of stuff. And I remember in Malaysia, I said these exact words. Actually, it's happened twice now. These exact words challenged people in the room, apparently. So I said, there's no need to change people. You can't fight for things and all this. Then somebody in the front row sat right there, raised his hand and said, Eric, I think that's wrong. And I said, oh, okay. I said, why? He said, because sometimes you do need to fight, and sometimes you do need to change things. I said, you're right. And then he was thinking and thinking. And then he was thinking. And then he just burst into tears. This is the real interesting thing now when we talk about this topic, because when it comes to public speaking, I used to teach people how to objection handle. Today, I don't need objection handling. I want you all to understand this, especially if we're going through the next, say, 12 months together, you know? I want you to understand this. You will never be able to challenge me, because you'll always be right. I have no need to be more right than your opinion. You know? Whatever I share is purely my opinion. So, you can't challenge me. Like, I appreciate your thoughts where you are, and I don't even appreciate that I'm right. I don't know. Who knows? But I will just share things that will work for me, that's all. Does that make sense? Thank you.